Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Very good. I know that this is early part of the year, so it's just starting out. And for us also, this is the first of what we would consider quite a few of these seminars that are sponsored by Center for Marketing Excellence throughout the year. So we start out quite early in the term, and then we finish them off sometime in the middle of April. So for those of you who are on campus, yeah, this is going to be a great opportunity for you to look towards some of the seminars that we'll organize. And so I can't think of a better start than what we have this afternoon. And so it's my pleasure to introduce Siraj. Sirajuddeen essentially is a managing director at Accenture. Yeah, I have had a set of dealings since I think earlier this year in March, and where he actually runs an innovation lab, yeah, which is absolutely fascinating. I wish we could all go there once, but we might be able to get some of you to go at some point in time. The innovation lab was my first introduction to Siraj and his group. So the fabulous sort of setup. And what it does illustrates in terms of how the digital world is changing and how Accenture, with its experience, essentially is changing the companies that they consult with. And so I think that was a great exposure for me. But just before we go on, I think the topic essentially is very provocative. It says beyond the hype, e-commerce hype. And I know this has been not new. E-commerce, as we know it, essentially has been around since 1995, but it's taking a completely different flavor. If you can think about what is going on in terms of the technology itself. The internet essentially has gone on much farther than what we thought. It might be, some might consider 2.0, some might consider 3.0, and particularly now with IoT devices that can interact and communicate with each other, it's actually providing an entirely new spectrum in terms of how the new digital strategies that firms adopt. And I think Accenture, I'm so proud to sort of know, is at the forefront of it. And so hopefully some of the information that Siraj has essentially addresses some of these global trends that are going on. So let me introduce you to Siraj. As I said, I know him personally well, and I think we continue to sort of foster a relationship with them. Over the years, I think we'll probably do more than what we've done so far. But this is going to be one of the early sort of events where I thought I'll have Accenture folks come down and talk to us. Siraj heads the digital in ASEAN and is a digital commerce lead for APAC, and is also the digital lead for China. Just going back to the background, so Siraj graduated from India in one of the elite colleges called Madras Christian College from Chennai, and he had 20 years of experience in the digital world, working for some of the major players in communications, WPP and Omnicom, and now he has joined Accenture 2 years ago as the digital lead for Asia Pacific. And so it's actually, I'm so happy that we could actually lock in his time, because the first several times that I had to actually had a conversation with him, it's usually on Skype, because he's in some part of Asia Pacific. And I remember the last visitors I took them to the Innovation Lab were 50 senior executives from China. That was actually quite a fascinating experience for the Chinese executives as well as for Accenture. And unfortunately, Siraj was not there, but he was able to Skype in and make a presentation which was incredibly well received. Okay. Anyway, so without much ado, let me actually introduce Siraj. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, remote. Clicker.
Good afternoon. Thanks a lot. I have a full class here, interesting. I used to be a backbencher during my management studies, but I always used to ask provocative questions right from the backbench.
I was going to be the pro.
I always had a knack of unnerving some of my professors and my teachers by asking them things which are not part of the syllabus. And I expect you all to do that today. Treat this as an open forum. You are free to stop me anytime you want and ask me a question. what I'm going to talk to you today is, this is on many companies and many governments' agenda. Where is e-commerce heading, and what is the future of e-commerce, okay? It's not just companies like Unilever, Procter & Gamble, Mars, Kellogg's. Even governments are actually waking up to saying, okay, what is the potential of e-commerce, okay? Like, just take, for example, Singapore wants to be the logistic hub for Asia Pacific. So if e-commerce grows, what is the potential for Singapore to actually be a logistics hub, okay? China is completely embarking on an e-commerce drive, okay? Just this morning, I was actually watching the CNBC, 781 million internet users, and almost 94% of them use their mobile either to make a payment or actually to buy something online. So today, I'll try and share with you a couple of examples to show you where e-commerce is heading, and is it all hype or is there fact behind this? Okay. I just want to show off hands. How many people have actually bought something online? That's almost a full class. How many people have bought in last 8 days? That's good. That's good. Okay, let's start. Okay. It's going too fast. Yeah. I read this very recently, in the joy of tech. Amazon recently launched in Singapore, Amazon Prime. And I thought it was very appropriate to actually start with this, because data will actually be the future. I would like you to read this bottom part actually. It looks like Sue Johnson is binging on ice cream again, That is the power of data. Or for example, data indicates Bob Jones is on a low salt diet. Send him some Amazon ads for heart health books. Okay? So that's where the future is heading. The future is all about data, and the future is all about consumer experience. Now, I'd like to understand from you, what is your understanding of e-commerce? Anybody, give me what comes top of your mind. Somebody here?
Buying stuff on the phone or computer, not going into a physical store.
Sorry?
Not going into physical store, buying something online, computer.
Online. Okay. Anybody there?
Logistics.
Literally conducting business online, transactions and buying and selling.
Any more?
Cashless payment.
Someone?
24/7.
24/7, good one.
Usually cheaper than offline store.
Okay.
Wish.
Good. Any more?
Bigger assortment.
Okay, you can keep adding, but if you look at what you said, e-commerce actually gives you lots of benefits. You get bigger assortments, you get pricing benefits, you can shop 24/7 online, cashless payments. Now, we believe that there is a very, very high probability of a shift which is happening, and we believe that e-commerce is dying. Would anybody like to say why? Anybody, take a guess. Why is e-commerce dying?
I guess all commerce is going to be somehow tied to digital, right?
Good one.
The experience.
Yep. Any more? What he said was right. Experience as well as everything is going to be digital commerce, because e-commerce is dead and it is long-lived digital commerce. So from today, I don't think any one of you should actually say e-commerce, it is all digital commerce. Because everything is connected to online. And that is a major shift which is happening globally. And this is where when we actually go and talk to clients, we actually convince them that e-commerce is traditional. E-commerce was in 2015 and early 2016, where you put up an assortment online and people went and actually shopped online. But now it is completely changed. It is all about digital commerce. It is how are you going to use your social media? How are you going to use your online communications? How are you going to use your digital marketing? How are you going to use your offline retail shops? So the whole thing is moving to digital commerce. And this is happening because of the changing Asian consumer. We did research last year in multiple markets across the whole of Asia Pacific, and we found this shift happening. Like today, the consumers are saying, give it to me when I actually want it. And they actually have a shopping list, they have a personal assistant, and more importantly, they do basic shopping. But moving forward by 2020, give it to me when I actually need it, and they will actually shift from a shopping list on a they will actually shift to a smart list on a shopping list on a smart device, expert guidance, and they will look at a smart enhanced shopping. And beyond 2020 is what we call as nirvana. Give it to me before I actually want it, and that's where Internet of Things actually comes into play. Your refrigerators will have internet-connected devices. They will actually look at your milk content. They will realize it is half empty. They will say, can I go ahead and order it? They will look at your baby food, and they will say the expiry date is past. Maybe the expiry date is just 3 months from now. Do you want to order a new can of baby food? So that's where the whole world is going, and that's where the connection from moving away from e-commerce to actually digital commerce. And this is happening very, very rapidly. I'll share with you a couple of examples. So, but why is this all happening? This is all happening because of people actually going and shopping online. If you look at China last year, 2016, was about $800 billion of digital commerce sales. And out of $800 billion, almost close to 20% of that came from fashion and beauty and personal care industry, which are the two fastest growing in e-commerce. If you look at ASEAN is actually following China very soon. We are expecting ASEAN to actually hit 40 billion, not even 30 billion. This is last year's report. The latest report says it's about 40 billion by 2020, and Indonesia will be one of the key markets which is actually going to drive this entire digital commerce upsurge from an ASEAN perspective. And more importantly, 50% of our ASEAN population is under 30, 800 million mobile connections. ASEAN will be the second largest mobile connected society after China. It's not even India, because India by 2020 is actually going to reach somewhere close to 680 million. So if you look at ASEAN as a group of countries, the potential is huge, the potential is massive. 480 million internet users, 70 million new consuming households. Now this is very important, because if you look at ASEAN, Indonesia is growing at about 5%, Vietnam is growing about 7 to 8%, Malaysia is around 3 to 4%, Singapore is around 2%. So if you aggregate it, you will see many more consuming households actually coming up. So these are people who will have at least $2,000 annually to buy personal care products. So that's 70 million new households. $200 billion in digital infrastructure spend. So everybody from Indonesia to Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, they're all investing in infrastructure. Indonesia, by beginning of 2018, would have actually collected their Palapa satellite. So across the whole of Indonesia's archipelago, you will have internet connection. The Indonesian government has actually invested in building warehouse facilities in all major towns. So e-commerce providers will actually be able to leverage that to deliver. So clearly you see there is a huge lot of investments going in this particular category.